This is the Revolution Roundtable, a weekly panel discussion of all the latest news, music, and world issues. Join us every week at 8 p.m. Eastern for great conversation. And now, here's your host, Craig Gador.
Can you hear me now? Yes, you can. Hi, everybody. My name is Craig Gador, a.k.a. DJ Craig G, music director here at Revolution Radio. This way, am I pointing the right? This way, right? This way. That way is Jenn Covent. She is program director here at the radio station, as well as she is just an awesome, awesome person and a perfect person to go through life with. Below her, our friend Melissa Rood. Now, Melissa, we've known for a very, very long time. We're going to get into that in just a couple of seconds. Melissa is stage manager.
Sure.
Yes, I got it. Stage manager at the Stratford Festival in Stratford, Ontario, Canada, where some of the finest, productions end up getting shown. And we went out 2 years ago, I believe it was, 2 summers ago, to see you for Rocky Horror. And that was an absolute blast. We'll get into that very soon as well. Yep. And beside Melissa, we have our old friend Chris MacBride, who is the technical director at Markham Theatre in Markham, Ontario, Canada. Welcome, everybody. Thanks, guys, for joining us tonight and being a part of this.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Great.
for having us. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to touch, essentially, we're not going to touch, we're going to entirely mostly talk about what the two of you have had to go through for the past year, which has just been an absolute nightmare for everyone in the arts. Anybody that's a musician, a disc jockey, works in theater, works in arts, movies, anything really. It's just been such a brutal year for everybody. So I would like to start out the program. This is how we start out each program, is with a wellness check. Okay, Jenn, how are you?
I'm doing very well today. Today is a good day. I taught all day, had meetings all at lunch, had a meeting after school, and didn't eat anything until 3 p.m. Cheers.
I can attest to that. That's true.
But I drank 8 glasses of water, which is my goal.
That's
so
good. Good. Staying hydrated. Melissa, how are you doing?
At 8:04 or 8:07 or whatever time it is, good stage manager already failing. Fine, totally fine. Ask me again in 20 minutes. Could be, everything could go pear-shaped yet again. But doing pretty well today. It's sunny out, which always helps. It's warm. Don't have to wear a parka.
Yeah, it was a gorgeous day.
And I'm employed at the moment, so feeling pretty good at this moment.
Good. We're going to talk about that shortly. Chris, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. All things considered, things are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice and simple, sweet and to the point, just like Chris MacBride always is. All right. So we're going to get going here. Can we get some history from the two of you? Basically, what we want to do is just to set the stage. Sorry for the pun. Set the stage as far as things go. Just if we could get some history from the two of you. Melissa, we will start with you. Just essentially how you got going, what got you interested in it, sort of your journey. You can do the Coles Notes version. You can do the 2-hour epic version. It's entirely up to you. But just essentially to tell us how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Yeah. I've said this a few times when I'm teaching, but I grew up dancing. I was in a dance class, much like Jenn. We lived at dance studios, and ended up at Unionville High School in the drama program there. There's an arts program, or there used to be an arts program at UHS.
Still is.
Is it still there? Okay, I thought
there.
they had shuttered that, but that's good to hear. And was in the drama program, but still dancing. And in grade 10, we had to do theater co-op, and we worked.
That was it.
That was it.
That was the moment you became Melissa Rood, stage manager.
Yeah. And, we were sent to the Markham Theatre to do co-op hours, and I just kind of shut up and did as I was told in those days. And
if I may, really quickly, sorry, Melissa, just so
Yeah.
everybody out there knows that may not be aware of this, Unionville High School is actually attached to Markham Theatre, where Chris MacBride actually is the technical director. So just sort of that kind of history, so that people know all you had to do is basically walk next door and you were in a professional theater.
100%.
Just walk through the link.
Yeah.
Lived basically in those two buildings, and so there were two things that were happening there. We had to build the sets on Wednesday nights and Sundays, and we had a great shop teacher.
Really? I didn't know you guys actually built the sets too. Wow, that's cool. That's great.
Yes. Oh yes.
That was Into the Woods, right?
Yep, Into the Woods, and we just like Jen and I know we were like using all the power tools and building things and painting.
Awesome.
It was awesome. And Cass Peer, who was our shop teacher, she was a drama teacher, but also she was in charge of all the build. So also as a young woman, that was a big deal for us to have a woman, for me anyway, in the shop. And she never gave us the solution. Like you'd say, hey, I chopped the head off of this cow. And she would just say, her words always were, deal with it. And you're like, oh shit. And then you would, and suddenly you were capable. Meantime, my sister was working at Canadian Tire, and she was selling all the stuff to Kath, and I apparently was doing a good job because I had no real feedback from Kath, because that was kind of a good thing. And my sister, who's not one to give compliments freely, was giving me some insight there. And then we were living at the Markham Theatre, and I think the moment I got sent up a ladder, that was it for me. I was like, oh, screwing up that ladder. I think, Chris, you can correct me, but I think there's like an upstage right or downstage right to get up to the catwalk.
Upstage right.
Yeah. And that was it.
The ladders and the box rooms. Downstage left and right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was it for me. And then I just kept doing it. We kept rewriting courses because there wasn't a course after a certain point. And I basically lived in that building from grade 10 until our OAC year. For those young people listening, that's grade 13. They gave us a year to mature. I'm not sure how effective that was.
And then see what happened.
That's right. I never got there. I'm still exactly the same.
And then I went to Sheridan College, which was an awesome.
Okay, you went to Sheridan. Okay, right.
Yeah, and hauled ass there. First year was maybe the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and you survive that. And I think like my university friends in theater programs are like, well, when are your classes? I was like, 8 a.m. on Monday to midnight on Saturday, and then on Sunday we paint and sew. And
oh wow,
and that was
you're always busy.
Yeah, and then I apprenticed and PA'd at the Canadian Opera Company in Stratford, and then just met all the people, and that's somehow I'm here drinking wine in Toronto, making an opera in a pandemic.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for your story. That's brilliant. Now, how long did it take you to go from, like, did you literally go straight from Sheridan to Stratford?
No, I worked on cruise ships for a little bit.
Okay.
So I got out of school. I did some like random stuff, like we all did or should do, actually. Lots of random stuff, vacuuming up lots of mouse poop in strange theaters as a rite of passage. And I'm proud of that. And I encourage everyone to do that. I wish there were less.
Running through the wind tunnels underneath. There's mouse poo there too.
There's always mouse poo.
There's always mouse poo. And lint. I don't know where it's from, but there it goes.
There it goes. And there it sticks. And but no, I went a lot of places, but I was a production assistant, but I got lucky. I got some pretty nice gigs out of the gate, but also some kind of dirty things too, but that's all part of the deal. And if you don't like it, you shouldn't be doing this, because those are the norm. Actually, I've been able to be in the exception, but they go together. That's all part of our culture. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. Chris, your turn.
My turn. I got into doing audio and all that in high school at Markville Secondary School, very heavily involved in the music program. I think it was my grade 9 year. George Taylor walked into the music room. I was just in there. And he's like, you come with me. So followed him to the vocal room. There was a jazz choir getting set up. And he said, you're going to do audio for them. I'm like, but what?
Nice.
So he showed me the basics of, gain structure, EQ, fader, bring this up, brings the volume up, away you go. And that's kind of where the passion began. And then in my OAC year, did a co-op at the Markham Theater and never left.
Wow. What year was Chris? What year was your OAC?
1995. So September of 95, I started at the theater.
And it was around 96 when I started doing. No, 90. It was 90. It was around 95 when I started doing musicals. My first one was Company.
Yeah,
no, my first one was Sweeney Todd with Andrew. What was his name from?
And Radomski, right?
Jen Radomski was in that. Yeah, Andrew. What was his name from Unionville?
Innes.
Andrew Innes. That's it. Yeah. He was Sweeney. He was great. Anyway, sorry, Chris.
No worries. And then from there, went to Humber College. Did their technical production program.
Yeah.
So 2 years there down at the Lakeshore campus, and did a whole bunch of shows. And started doing freelance work while I was there, working for some set companies, Stage Vision, or not Stage Vision, sorry, Telav's set shop, and then a company called Stage Right. And then back to the theater I went, and was working with some community theater groups, Markham Youth Theater, and then got connected with the Unionville Theater Company as well, a little bit with Markham Little Theater. And then started expanding into some bands like not affiliated Jim Smith Band. And now, as well as TD at the Markham Theater, I am tour manager and audio engineer for a country group called the Singing Soldiers. Work with a fantastic group called Jeans and Classics. So it's all kind of classic rock stuff with a full rock band and then a 35-piece symphony behind them. We do a bunch of stuff. Yeah,
you do sound for that?
Yeah. So it's like 70 inputs. It's awesome.
Oh my!
It's awesome.
How big is the board?
Very big.
A little. Oh no, actually, it's 4 feet wide, but it does 96 inputs, and it's the beauty
because
of
it's digital
technology.
It's digital, right? Of course, yeah. You're not sitting behind a 20-foot solid state Logic board anymore.
Exactly.
Plug.
It's
wow.
It's so much fun, and shows like Zeppelin and Bowie, Prince, Michael Jackson, The Who. We before we all got shut down, we did an Annie Lennox and Eurythmics one, which was all 6 of the main female vocals for the company, and it was just killer, like from top to bottom. Supertramp and Journey was another incredible one, and they've just Paul DeLong plays a lot of the drum parts for the shows.
Hi, Paul.
Your buddy Paul.
Yeah. He was my teacher at Humber. Yeah.
So just hanging out with world-class musicians and getting to have a whole lot of fun, and then doing all kinds of festivals around the Markham area and Stouffville area. And
you're kind of known a lot for that. It's one of those things, excuse me, folks. Sorry. It's one of those things that you can't really go through Markham without someone saying, "Oh, I know Chris MacBride." It's pretty difficult, actually. I work right now. My job, an old friend of mine is a musician that I work with, was actually on the Roundtable last week. Jonathan Eisen was on the Roundtable last week, and he's like, "Yeah, I didn't know you knew Chris MacBride." And I was like, "Oh, I've known Chris a long, long time."
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's that game, like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, 6 Degrees of Chris MacBride.
6 Degrees of Chris MacBride.
Oh, I love that. That's brilliant. 6 Degrees of Chris MacBride. I'm doing that one from now on. That's a good one. All right, Jen, thank you for that.
Welcome.
It's so good. Okay, so I've just got a couple of quick questions here for you, and then I'm sure a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about, we'll get into big, massive discussions. Melissa, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
Can you remember what the last show was at Stratford when you got shut down?
Oh, yes. I was in rehearsal for Much Ado About Nothing. We were actually we were supposed to be on stage. Our first day on stage, actually, we were prepping for our first day on stage, and it was a big deal show for me. Actually, it was on the main stage, and I was going to open the opening Shakespeare, like Call the Bell and the Bomb for the 7:30 Shakespeare on open. Like it was like a big professional check mark that I was about to hit.
Yeah.
And so we had a rehearsal, and for those who don't know, Stratford works in rep. So you'll have like one acting company, and they'll be in 3 different shows over the course of. So there's several companies, but each company is in 3 shows. So of a season of 16 shows like they had last year, you kind of like travel with the same group of people. And so our gang was like Much Ado About Nothing, and they were also doing Hamlet. So we had a bigger rehearsal hall. So we thought this was going to be helpful. We're like, you know what? We have a bigger rehearsal hall and Hamlet has priority tomorrow. So let's just push all our stuff aside and Hamlet can have our hall for the next day. So that was the last day we spent in the hall. I took a picture just in case, and I took my prompt book home, wondering, and this is pretty late in the game. And then Monday morning I walked in ready to have a work day and just check on the Hamlet team. And it was like 9:17 and the coaches was there. They're like, yeah, rehearsals are canceled today. And there's our set, probably still sitting on stage right now. Like
Seriously?
a year later. Maybe, probably not, but
have you been back at all since like inside the theater or anything like that since since COVID hit?
Yeah, we were invited back to clear out the rehearsal hall a couple of weeks later. They said, just grab your stuff, and you had to sign in and do it. And this is like very early on, so we didn't kind of like, we're used to it now. But, the sign and the pre-screen and the mask and and escorting in, you had to tell everyone where you were. And we just gathered all our stuff and, took all the rehearsal shoes and stuff. Like we had 2 days, actually. 1 day to get our stuff because it might be a little longer than we thought. Like we all thought we were going to clean out our closets, going, I got the week to like, clean out the closet and give some shoes away or something. And, and then I gathered my stuff and I just spent 2 weeks on the floor. Basically, that's what I did. I was I was fine until I was not fine, and I couldn't get up off the floor because I was like, I don't understand. And then we went once to actually clear out the rehearsal, untake the props and all the stuff, like the labels off the wall and the props tables and all that stuff, and just shut her down. And that's it. And it's basically been on life support for the most part.
So basically, at this particular point in time, then Stratford would just look like an empty hall with the curtains drawn. Basically, that's what it would look like now.
Yeah, they've done some concerts in there. Like I think in the fall they filmed a couple of one-off pieces. Every time there's a different kind of lockdown, they kind of change the rules. So, and that's a whole other conversation. But each theater there's a ghost light on each stage. And for those who don't know what a ghost light is, I mean, there's a whole bunch of lore around that. Some is to keep the ghost company. Some is to keep the ghosts away. Many theaters leave a seat empty so that the ghosts always have a place to sit. But in all theaters across the country, there's a ghost light still just on stage, keeping that spirit alive while we wait to come back.
Oh, what a lovely story. That's awesome. That's really, really cool.
And sad. Just sweet.
It is.
Triste.
Very. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris?
Last show I did was March 13th at the Gaiety Theater in Collingwood with Singing Soldiers. And as I was driving up there, I was getting phone calls from the production manager at the theater saying, hey, looks like we're shutting down. They were in the midst of loading in a production called MILF. Okay. And so they were in the middle of loading in, and that's when the city pulled the plug on everything. And I was up at the Gaiety in Collingwood there. We were getting all set up, talking with the technical director up there, and he's like, yeah, we're still good to go so far. Started the show at 8:00, intermission. He comes up to me and says, yeah, I've been told you can finish the show, but after this, we're shut down. Everything else has been canceled until further notice. Wow. So we got in by the skin of our teeth. And then I was lucky. I got to do a show on Canada Day, again, up in Collingwood with the Soldiers for their live stream at Blue Mountain.
Okay.
So we did, there was people in the village, but a big barrier around the stage area so people couldn't gather, and it was all done live stream.
It was all outdoors as well, too.
Yeah.
So I guess,
And we were the only band on that stage, and they had another stage up on the mountain, another one on a rooftop on a bank in the middle of town, and they just kind of bounced from stage to stage for the live stream.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have either of you heard anything at all from the powers that be, the uppers, the government, anything as far as any sort of a semblance of reopening at all? Anything?
Depends on what day, who you talk to, which level of government.
Really?
It changes constantly.
Yeah, schools too.
Yeah,
schools,
exactly.
Yeah, one day we're closing, then we're doing virtual school, and then we're not, and then I just have to surf it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'll work out.
It's like, it's, we're all trying, I'm so tired of the word pivot. I know. I'm like, how about like a grand jeté across a crevasse? That is what we're trying to do here. And it's like,
I would break something.
Me too. I'm too clumsy to do that.
I mean, and most of us are like in the crevasse, like going, throw me a rope here. We're trying, but we've heard it just keeps changing. And then you go down like pages and pages and pages and pages of like whatever, how I don't even understand how it works, but, I'm just going to sound like an idiot. I'm going to preface all of that right now because it's just so mind-numbing, and much gratitude to all of the people who are figuring this out. Like the fact that I'm doing an opera right now is a little insane and also very lucky, but that is like tons, and like it's production managers and technical directors. Those are the people actually who've been like still like retained jobs for a lot of these bigger theater companies, and have been doing all the legwork trying to figure out what all the rules mean. And then you go, yeah, we can. And then there's like one stupid little sentence at the bottom that says, but actually you can't. And so the whole thing folds, and then you start all over again. So everyone's planning on quicksand. We go, okay, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do this. And everyone is planning on quicksand. And that is very challenging and exhausting. It's exhausting. So to answer your question, like, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the municipal theaters, Oakville, Richmond Hill, Burlington, things like that, they've all been given the go ahead to do virtual stuff now. So they've started doing things like that. Unfortunately, us at Markham, we're still no. And we've been pushing for it since March.
Right.
Like last year, March.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Like we've been trying
over a year. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so many different options and scenarios of how to do it. And unfortunately, we just keep getting the no.
Now with nice weather on the way, and I think because of the fact that maybe we've had enough time to sort of figure life out in big fucking quotes. I'm just wondering, is there any talk for this year? Because I'm unaware of Stratford Festival. I know at the theater, there's that small outdoor kind of amphitheater area where we did hair.
where we did hair, yeah.
We did hair the one year, right?
Yeah, Melissa and I did a Commedia dell'arte play in the amphitheater.
Did you really?
We were attacked by geese too, remember? That was like brand new.
That's amazing.
And our director, I think was it Jeff
Richard Markle, I think.
Richard, and we were hauling ass, like running. And they're like, we weren't supposed to start. We were all waiting to like way over at the far end. And we weren't supposed to start. And we're like, why are they hauling ass? We're like, well, we're like getting chased by like rabid geese. And then there's that fountain out front too. I don't know if you
yeah.
And we spent a day jumping through the fountain.
Yeah, we played in that fountain.
And then I sliced my feet open because there's like a metal grate inside of it. And so we were basically skipping class and like.
Oh, that never happened.
Never. It was
pure trouble.
I don't think I went to high school.
No. I was going to say, I'm glad my daughter's not listening to this. Our daughter, Jennifer, is listening to this right now.
Second cup and wrote napkin poetry. And
but I second cup because you could smoke in there.
That's right. But I sliced my feet open on that grate, and so I had to go inside to see the nurse because my feet were gashed open and all these rocks got stuck inside, soaked head to toe. But I was skipping class, so the nurse cleaned me up and then sent me to the English class with Mo, and I was like shamed, of course,
and
like,
wet,
soaking wet, hobbling, and like 10 minutes left of class, and of course, I had my own.
Those arts kids.
Mo, who was Mo?
Jacobs.
Mo Jacobs. Oh,
English.
You told me about this guy before, yeah.
Jenn
he was a poetry guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, I liked him a lot.
I can't remember what was the question again.
Actually, I completely forgot. Let me go through it here again. Oh, right. So
outdoor spaces.
What's the possibility of now going outdoors? Like, even if you're not, because Jenn actually was talking about this before and she made a really good point. You wouldn't be able to do a whole heck of a lot because you're not going to be able to have people on top of people doing makeup and stuff like that. But you can still put on kind of like that outdoor makeup, like far away face, so you can see a person from a far away, and some sort of separation, I would think? Like, is there any talk about outdoor space musical theater again?
Everywhere. The whole country is going to be out this summer. But the problem is, so you don't even need a whole lot of makeup because you can only gather up to 50 or 100 people depending. So you can't. So that's the other. It's a revenue problem too.
Is
right?
is that 100 people total? That's including everybody in the show as well?
No.
Just patrons.
Yeah.
Just
thank
like
goodness.
spectators. Yeah.
Yeah. But even still, and I know, so the festival, I think everyone's planning stuff. Like I have to be careful I don't speak out of school because I don't even know what's official and what's not. But generally everyone's planning these outdoor things. And like Stratford, we can't go indoors, but we've got 2 tents happening in Stratford. And I say we, I mean, I don't have a job, but I've been there for 20 years, but I don't have a job. But so it's still it's we. But there's 2 tents. They're going to be a tent outside the festival and outside the New Tom Patterson Theater. And then I think the plan is like with more vaccinations and stuff like that, hopefully they can increase capacity as the rules and things. So it's flexible, but there's only so much you can do, and with lawnmowers and weather, all these things. So, but it's a whole other bunch of planning and bathrooms and there's all this infrastructure stuff that has to go with it too.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah, right.
How do the kids walk in hallways and remain separated? They can't. How could you sit in a classroom and be separated? There's no room. It's too small and there's too many kids.
Yeah, I don't understand it. So
it doesn't make much sense.
Jen's getting angry.
Oh yeah,
Chris, your turn. quick!
No.
I'm just angry. I'm joking. Yeah, and same thing, Chris. I guess as far as the amphitheater at Markham Theater, have you heard anything about that?
It's part of the city. It's not the theater.
Oh, okay.
That's what was actually turned into the ice rink.
Okay.
They converted that a few years ago, where it's actually a man-made rink now. So they pulled out that big round section, basically where we played Frisbee that day. I'm not sure if you were there during hair.
I was there. Yeah. When we were supposed to be getting ready. Yeah.
No. This was on, I think it was Saturday during the day or something. So we had.
Okay.
Time. Yeah.
No, I wasn't there.
Anyway,
I would have been drinking at that point in time.
We were.
Did I say that? Oh, yeah. Oh, everybody was. Yeah. Right.
So they changed that into a big concrete pad now. So there's actually a good space to do something, and this is still very much up in the air, kind of waiting for grant approvals and things like that. Doing a co-pro between the museum and the theater, putting a stage at the museum, because it's all fenced in, so you can actually control people coming in and out. And they've got room for thousands, so we could, as regulations change, we could, have 50 for this week, but next week we can have 100, next week we can have 200, or however it goes, and then doing shows on the museum grounds throughout the summer, setting up a stage line and full PA and lighting and excuse me. And hopefully we get the approval to do something like that. But I know that a lot of the festivals, like with the Soldiers, were booked to play Havelock, and they still haven't canceled. So we're still scheduled to headline the Sunday night.
Yeah. Speaking of,
we'll see.
Speaking of drinking, I know as of right now, I think they're still selling tickets for it, but it hasn't been canceled yet. Is the Toronto Festival of Beer?
Oh,
they're still selling tickets for that. I was just online looking at it today because next week, my friend Jeff Elliott and I are. Don't worry, Jen, we're not going. It's okay.
You don't need to go there, honey. You'll get in some trouble.
I went to so many beer festivals in the past. Let me put it to you this way. This is how hardcore a craft beer fan I am. I drove once with a funk band that I was playing with as entertainment to the Kingston Festival of Craft Beer.
yes.
All the way out to Kingston, Ontario. And it was awesome. It was amazing. And it was trippy too, because I remember there was nobody there. And all of the just nobody there. It was a Friday. They did the festival on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They did it 3 days, and there was nobody there on the Friday, which is when we were booked to play. So all the brewers, they gave us like a handful of tickets each, right? Like, like here's your complimentary drink tickets and stuff.
Right.
The brewers were all so bored. They're just like, give me your glass. Don't need a ticket. Give me your glass. And they're pouring beer, and we'd be talking with this person. Anyway, I digress. where was I going next? We did that.
Before you move on,
Oh yeah, sorry.
Craft beer. You just walk across Highway 7, Craig. I've got the craft beer fridge right here.
Nice. Can you guys see this? Can you see that
I have
mug?
the exact same mug.
Isn't that great?
Like a
Bone
skull?
shaker.
It's a skull.
Yeah. Sweet.
Now, the beer that is inside of this skull right now is KLB, Kawartha Lakes Brewery Raspberry Wheat Beer.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the very first craft beers that I ever had.
It's one of the first beers we had together.
Correct. Yeah. I think you might have been
place.
I think you might have been underage.
No, I didn't drink until I was 19.
Really? Neither did I.
No, honest to God, I was 19 years old when I had my first beer.
Wow.
Melissa, how old were you when you had your first drink?
Melissa and I had very different
I know.
experiences.
I have made up for it since then.
You two prudes.
I had my first bout of my very first hangover was shared with Jenn and her parents.
I've heard the story.
And it was incidentally my first real cast party. And I do remember.
What show was it? What show was that?
Into the Woods.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I really.
It was really something.
I went for it. And I remember
She was balls deep.
Jen's dad was laughing at me, like fully laughing at me the next morning as I'm like,
that sounds like Murray.
Well, it's because you were sleeping on a cot in the bathroom.
And this is so your parents. Your dad's laughing at me, and then your mother lovingly sat me down
and promised you wouldn't call your parents.
It's like, but I think you should talk to your parents about this. Like, yeah, for sure. Mom and Dad, if you're listening right now, they've never heard about it since. And anyway, and I wish I could say that was the last time that happened, but I've had a rich career.
I remember a particular wine and line that went far out of control.
We have it on video
somewhere. I have a VHS of it somewhere.
Oh my God,
it was a wine and line, and Melissa got angry drunk, and she was saying her lines like they were threats.
I mean, I was 19 by then, but let's be real here. I mean,
I was not 19.
No, you weren't, because you're younger than me. But but because it was, I had just turned 19. I think I had just turned. Maybe that's not true. No, I wasn't. I do remember trying to find a place to celebrate my 19th birthday because the pub that we had been going to the whole time had like been serving me for 2 years.
Right. And you get me like, hi, it's my 19th birthday. But thanks for all the good times.
I was like, where should we go? Yeah, that was like, we can't go there. Anyway.
We had to take my brother down to Unionville, down to the Brody's pub.
Oh,
because of the fact that where we grew up in Stouffville, same thing. They'd been serving my brother since he was 17. So we were like, we can't go to the Earl. We got to go. We go down to go down to Unionville. Yeah, we had a good party.
Good old Brody's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
I love
old
Brody's. Many a cast party at that place afterwards too.
The first time we danced was at Brody's, honey.
That's right. It was. Yeah, that's right. First place we slow danced.
4 years ago.
After Nonsense.
Years ago.
Nonsense 2.
Nonsense 2.
Yeah.
After
you were there for that, Chris.
2. You were Nonsense.
Yeah. Man,
we
oh
did
man,
that show together. That was a good show. I enjoyed it. Was that the roller skating one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the roller skating one. Yeah.
With the gold
you put
roller
on those
skates.
The gold roller skates. You know what's really funny is like you talk to people, it's like, especially like hockey players or like, sportos, jocks, right? You talk to them like, oh man, we drink so much this and that. We have so many parties when we're on the road and stuff. Like, dude, you've never been in a musical before. You have no idea. You have no idea how to drink.
You're not even corrupt enough.
You haven't started drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning and then realize, oh shit, I have a matinee and I still have the show to do at night. And I did that a couple times. But of course I was of age.
Melissa had a convertible.
Oh, yes.
It was like a beater, but it was a convertible, which was the coolest thing.
What kind of car was it?
It was a Dodge 600, which was basically a K car with a rag top. And it was actually my mom's car. And then it ended up, it was supposed to be like my mom's little convertible. And then it turned into, my sister ended up taking it. And then I ended up with it. And like, there was a cigarette burn in the back from like, you know, my sister would have a smoke and then it would blow in the back and melt the vinyl. And then there was like a mosquito hawk, like frozen in time in the gas gauge. Like it was just there forever. Right? It was just and you know,
it made noise, and we drove with that top down in all weather. Like we didn't care. It was so cool to have a convertible that it was like November 20th, and we're like,
that was the beginning of our era, like Jen. Like that was an era for sure. Like just all the time, like just living on the shag carpet. And I mean, I lived at the Markham Theater. I lived there between there and Jen's basement. Like that was kind of my life. Yeah. That was
my house was a hub for sure.
Yeah.
When I started doing work with Markham Youth Theater and then getting into Markham Little Theater, it was the same thing for me too. I was from Stouffville, but I lived in Unionville. I basically lived at the Everhart brothers' house. BJ and Robin Everhart. I pretty well slept there. So I totally know exactly what you mean. It's one of those things when it gets in your blood, you can't. I just can't. Like I still, to this day, I miss doing shows. I miss musicals. I will do one again eventually someday, but just
it's been hard with Maggie Young.
I have the drums set, sort of the drums set up a little bit.
I'd like to do a musical again soon too. I mean,
I'm sure you would. You know, being a stage manager and all. I mean, call you crazy, right? I'm trying to think here. So we've talked about a lot of awesome stuff here, but there was one thing in particular that I wanted to ask the two of you. And of course, I fucking forgot to write it down. Shame on you, Craig.
Must have been a lie.
Do. Let's do the Jeopardy theme. Yeah. Let's do the. Okay.
I want to know what everyone's favorite show is.
Oh.
Everyone's favorite show.
Oh,
wow.
God.
That we've worked or just in general?
Any?
You
probably worked it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, you probably have worked it. Yeah.
Like one of my top 5 for sure is Jesus Christ Superstar. I mean,
that's one of mine. Yeah.
They programmed it, and I was like, over in my dead body, will someone else do this show?
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was like, you know, it was a full meal deal. Like we did it with this like killer company. And then I remember they brought us in and they're like, okay, guys, we're having a meeting. We're like, okay, we're having a meeting. Like, we're going to take the show to the La Jolla Playhouse in San Diego. And we're like, what's the La Jolla Playhouse in San Diego? Oh, it's in San Diego. Oh my God, where all these other shows started. And then they went to Broadway. And it was like, it was a ride. And the show, we didn't know what we had because it's so hard to get the rights to do that show. And we had the perfect storm. And it was like between design and the acting company. And I'm like, normally I'd say everyone's names, but I'm so stupid right now. It was like, and we didn't know what we had. And it was constructed in such a way that Des McAnuff, he's like, I don't want anyone to applaud. There's no applause. He goes, we're not going to give them a chance to applaud.
Wow.
And so he pushed through. So it was like an album, right? Like side.
Yeah.
And so we pushed through and we had no idea that first preview. We're like, because people are purists about JC. And we pushed through the intermission and people went fucking bonkers. And that was just intermission. And we're like, and we were tingling. Like I'm tingling just thinking about it now. And then we did the second act, and oh yeah, I'm having head to toe tingles right now. And then we did the second act, and same thing. And you know, it's just like, it's you know, people are like Landry Lloyd Webber, blah blah blah. I'm like, fuck it, it's so good, it's so much fun, and it was outrageous. And the cast slayed it every night. And we finished that first show, and you couldn't get a seat for the rest of the season.
Right.
Like it was old school. There was a lineup for like rush tickets around. People were traveling from all over. You couldn't get a ticket to it. Like it was sold. Like people say, oh, it's sold out. It was sold out. And every show, every time, it never failed to knock my socks off. And like,
Awesome.
it was awesome. Right to the Tonys. And like, there were only two of us. Well, me and my friend Megan Callan, who's another assistant stage manager on the show. We didn't get to go to Broadway with it, but remember they were nominated, and we're sitting like all drinking glasses of wine in Stratford. And there's like Ben Vereen introduced from all the way from Stanford, Canada.
Oh no!
And we're like, you can hear everyone in Stratford going, no.
Yeah. Oh God.
But to watch your friends perform on the Tonys, like not just a person you know, but the show, and like award shows, we could talk about that. Like that it's all, there's lots of BS that goes with that too. But nevertheless, it's still the Tonys, and seeing all of your friends up there just killing it, and like just fully sobbing. You're going, you know what? That's it. Like you did a thing that you weren't sure people were going to dig, and then you get nominated for a Tony for Best Revival, and then I think Best Supporting Actor, and Josh Hung, and like they even like the swings are up there, and it was just. And I was getting text messages the whole time from the people, because what they do for Tonys, they like, you go to your theater, but then you get ready for the show, and the bus takes you over. And so I'm getting text messages like in real time about, oh, we're waiting here, and Matthew Broderick's giving the stink eye to Paul Nolan or whatever, who played Jesus. And you're like, this is so crazy. And then suddenly they're on, they're like, well, this is like from my stage manager. He's like, this is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. They're done. And you're getting, it was crazy. It was crazy. And it seems like it's so surreal, but here I am, this like little theater nerd. And you go, that's good. I'm down with that. So JC is like, Jesus Christ Superstar is like one of the top.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've done JCS 4 times.
I've never done it.
3 times on drums and once on bass. So
sweet bass show. Sweet.
It's really good bass show.
Indeed it is. Yeah.
Great drum show too. It's an amazing drum show.
Yeah.
I'd have to say Jesus Christ Superstar would be up there for me. I also loved, speaking of Matthew Broderick, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Oh, so good.
I loved doing that show. That was a lot of fun. Those would be a couple of my favorites. I've done Music Man 3 times as well, and for me, it's just like a sort of pull at your heartstrings kind of show. So, yeah.
I have some issues with that show.
Oh, do you?
There's issues with that show.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Chris?
Tommy, love doing that show.
Yeah.
It's just such a.
That was great.
Music, and I like when we did it with Markham Youth Theater. It was. It was the first time we tried that we did something like that. And with the technical stuff that we brought in, the video stuff that Alan did with the TVs everywhere.
It was amazing what you guys did. Yeah.
The truss towers, the mirror that we ended up building. And I mean, we built that set in my parents' driveway.
Wow.
We didn't have a set space. So we just built it in my parents' driveway. God, they got pissed off.
Yeah. I'll bet.
Cars go here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, Mom and Dad, you're parking on the street for the next month.
It was all the silver paint that got on the lawn and the driveway.
That'll do it.
And then did a little less known one, Tuck Everlasting. I did it with Markville Secondary School a couple years ago.
The dog one?
Yeah.
And it is so good. The music, it's very folky.
Isn't it sad though?
Not really. I mean, it's about a family that finds a fountain of youth, essentially, and so they don't age. And the one boy tries to convince a girl that discovers them to, to drink from the fountain so that they can be together forever. And she doesn't. But then he's like, "Oh, but wait until you're old enough, so it's not weird." But then she meets somebody, it's a great show. Funny. The music is spectacular. And then as far as stuff that I've seen, not worked. Wicked is always one of my favorites, and
Yeah.
Wicked was fun. It was
Wicked
fun.
was
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
And then The Heart of Robin Hood. I took the girls to see that years ago. I think it was at the Royal Alex.
Yep.
Again, and not really a musical, but they had a band on stage kind of playing the soundtrack, and the musicians became part of the show, and the set was just incredible. It was sort of a forest scene, but the main tree, there were trapdoors and hidden entrances in it, so it became the castle, and it was a big slide, so the cast would come sliding down on this like astroturf kind of covering on it, and it was wild. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I think we saw Idina Menzel in Wicked.
We did. Yeah, it was
really?
Idina Menzel when we saw Wicked. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
She was
it
unreal.
Wow.
Unreal.
She was
Unbelievable.
unreal.
Like,
Unreal.
I mean, hearing her sing that, it was just like, you want to talk about goosebumps on your
I
on your-
just
on
got
your body.
goosebumps. Like,
yeah, you do. It just
Yeah.
makes my eyes
She did.
fill up.
Yeah.
It's so
She
gorgeous.
did. Yeah, she did New York. I think she did New York, Chicago, Toronto, Montreal, and then that was it. And then I think she was gone doing Frozen or whatever. I don't remember exactly, but
Yeah, that
I
would
do
have
know
been
that she
it.
was
That
done.
would
I
have
think
been
she was.
it.
I think she did. I think she only did 4 cities, and Toronto was one of them. It was great, and she
Right
was
on.
Yeah, then she
super,
did
super
Frozen
awesome.
for sure.
Yeah.
At that time.
I've never seen Wicked. I've never like
It's amazing.
Fun. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, it's
It's
really
fun.
Great show.
heard lots of it, but I've never seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, the music is fabulous in it as well too. Like the soundtrack is just one of those things that you
Yeah.
could just throw on your stereo at home and listen to. You know,
Yeah.
like a Jesus Christ Superstar. I mean, because the music
Yeah.
is so good and the lyrics are so good.
Every
last
Easter on vinyl. I've got 2 versions of it. And then I
Oh,
just like
nice.
crank it and playing on this version of that version. Then I listen to Paul Nolan sing in this like weird place in New York
Mhm.
City. Anyway, yeah, I'm obsessed. I was obsessed before. I'm still obsessed.
It's interesting too. I find a lot of people, a lot of theater peeps, and a lot of musicians especially love Jesus Christ Superstar because I believe it was the original production was Ian Gillan from Deep Purple was Jesus in the
You are
original
correct,
production,
sir.
and he's just one of the most celebrated male rock vocalists of all time. He's a hero of mine. He's one of my favorite singers of all time.
I love a rock opera. I can't say.
Yeah.
It's like I'm obsessed with rock operas. We did Tommy
Yeah.
too. That's like another highlight.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. When Pete Townsend comes walking into the auditorium
Yeah.
and you're like, the coolest guy you know
Mhm.
loses his mind. And you're like, is this fucking Pete Townsend is walking? Oh, he's gonna sit down beside me. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
and then we had a party. I'm like, I don't like to name drop. I don't get starstruck a whole lot, but like it's Pete Townsend.
Mhm.
And and then we were drinking beers in our stocking feet in someone's house. I'm like, this is so bizarre. Like, like not like a party, like, oh, hello. Oh, it's like, no, all our shoes are at the front door and you're standing there going, I'm trying to be cool. I'm not cool. There's no way. The cool factor is like, there's no possible zenith that I can reach. That's like, it's like Pete Townsend in his socks. Nicest guy, nicest, coolest collaborator. Yeah.
Another show I loved doing that was really tricky. West Side Story. That was a good one too. I loved that. That was, music wise for musicians. That's a great one.
And
I did a dance to Officer Krupke.
Oh, did
I
you?
remember that.
Do you remember that? It was so funny. It was so funny because Margot gave up, right? So I had to do the whole thing, and it like won awards. It was so fun.
I do remember that. And like, yeah, at dance competitions, I was like, there we go. I remember you saying Margot gave up. And I'm like, I'm doing everything. I'm like, that sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah. West Side Story
give up.
is, well, that's what happens when you're gifted. So
Mhm.
I just didn't want to look at
Right.
her with that same Kent expression, that expression you get when you're watching someone do something worse than you would do it. And you kind of look at them, you just want to say, out of the way, let me just do it. That's a Kent expression.
A Kent expression.
A Kent expression.
I'm writing it down.
You're watching someone like screw something up, and you know that with like 2 seconds you could do it properly.
Yeah, I've been there.
Kent expression.
There's so many better interviewers than me, so I get Kent expressions all the time. So, actually, Jen, you had a couple of questions you wanted to ask our peeps tonight. Do you remember what they were?
They weren't questions, but I wanted to know if anyone looked at webcams during like lockdowns. World webcam.
She means like so she's wondering live webcams like of Times Square or anything like that.
Oh, like live streams and stuff.
Not stuff that you shouldn't be looking at.
I mean, maybe I had my own webcam.
Listen, I meant like, have you looked at the rest of the world?
I mean, I've been unemployed for a year. You know,
What else are you gonna do?
There are some costumes that haven't been used in a while.
So listen, I mean, you know, what else are you going to do, right? You just invest in a webcam and just hit record, right?
No, that's necessary. I mean, this laptop, which is dying quickly, I'm finally working and all of my gear is dying, by the way. I'm like,
Right.
We're like, I'm working, I can buy a new phone. I'm like, no, there is a desert on the other side of these walls. Yeah, so
Right.
no, but so far.
Okay, so
Yes,
yeah, I haven't seen any webcams. I saw one of the theater district in Toronto, King Street.
Yeah, I showed you Times Square though.
Yeah, you showed me Times Square and it was
Times
empty.
Square.
There were 2 people dressed up as furries and really nobody else.
So like a Flaming Lips concert.
I mean, day after day after day.
Exactly right, Melissa.
One
exactly
of them was
right.
a bear.
Yeah.
It's like a bear and a tiger, and then someone was on there in Times Square doing like nonsense magic.
New York is made for this though. Like they're and listen, the Flaming Lips, they're way ahead of the curve. I'm like that would be the first concert I want to go see.
Yeah.
It's like that because you always feel good after you listen to the Lips.
First concert I'd want to go see would be LCD Sound System. I love them. That would be awesome. Okay, here we go. We just because before Melissa's computer dies on us here.
We're fine.
We're good. Okay, good. Can the two of you remember what the first show was that you actually got paid for and said, okay, this is now what I'm doing for my career? Not just, worked and, we'll shoot you $20 here or something like that. Like you actually got handed a check and they said, here you go. And you went, now this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
I mean, I was working at Kingswood Music Theater. That, like, for me, because
as a stage manager,
as a technician, yeah, I was like stage man. Nobody chooses to be a stage manager, by the way. There's no such nobody.
Okay.
In the
It
absence
just kind
of
falls upon you.
It does. And like if there were like a bunch of actors in a room, it falls like my friend Jacqueline Day, most responsible person in the room. That's who the when she was in theater school, that's what happened to her. It's just like it just kind of happens. But I was working at Kingswood Music Theater. I was like 12 years old, I think, and I was like climbing truss. And my very first concert I ever worked with was Janet Jackson, and all my union brother and sisters are gonna like text me right now.
Kick ass.
But you know what? I was a child, like running a follow spot for Janet Jackson, and I didn't even understand what unions were. I didn't care for like $8 an hour. I was thrilled. And I mean, I closed my eyes. They're like, what is that? That's the compressor for a smoke machine. Oh, it belongs to her brother. I mean, that was it. And I was like 18 maybe. And that was it. And then it just kind of kept tumbling, and stage management happened. But I would say I was a technician before I was a stage manager, and I was dunsies.
What did you want to be?
I wanted to be like an electrician, actually, a theater electrician, and maybe stick to rock and roll. But stage management it just worked because I have my dance background and I dig music so much. It just kind of spoke to all of the things that I do well.
And you're bossy.
I'm not actually. I'm not actually that. You should. There's a bossy stage managers. I actually don't like. I think of myself more like a shepherd. I lead from behind.
Nice.
I'm like, I keep everyone in front of me. I keep it moving. But like, there are some people who like to be front and center, but that is not my style. I get confused when people are like behind me. I'm like, I like to be the last person in the line and just make sure everything's going this way. But yeah, in my family, I am not the bossy one. But that's another show.
One of your cousins is a boss that I know of well.
He's real bossy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a boss. All right, Kim. That's right. I'm talking about you, Kim. My old boss, Chris, at Wow One Day Painting, Kim, is Melissa's cousin.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah. And I went out. This is funny, actually, really quickly before. Sorry, Chris. Well, your thing here. We went out to Stratford to visit Missy, as we call her. And
only you and one other person.
Right. And we go out there. We go into her kitchen at her house, and she has this giant Rood sign that lights up. And the story is because of the bakery, right?
Yeah.
So there was the Rood Bakery.
Rood's Pastry Shop. Yep.
Rood's Pastry Shop, right. And so I take a picture of it, and I send it to Kim. And he texts me back, and it reads, "Fucking steal it." And I said, actually, I think Melissa will know if I'm actually. I just tuck it under my arm. And I'm like, I'll be back in a second.
Don't mind me.
A giant Rood sign going through the house. Sorry, Chris. What was the? Do you remember the first one you got officially paid for? Handed a check.
Oh God. I don't know, but I was hooked after I started doing stuff in high school, and then did the co-op, and that really was like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. You know, I never really had the idea of sitting behind a desk, you know, do a day job kind of thing.
Me neither.
You know, nope. I'd considered being an electrician, like an actual electrician, before I'd gotten into the audio, like the theater thing. I was thinking an electrician, something like that could be fun, maybe a cop. But then I started doing sound at Markville and went and did that co-op at the theater, and that was it. I knew right then and there, okay, this is it. This is what I will do for the rest of my life.
How long have you had those Meyer speakers at Markham Theater for?
Well, there's been Meyer in there since the building opened. We put in the new PA.
Oh, okay.
Back in 2011.
Those speakers are unreal.
They're fantastic.
There's nothing like Meyer sound.
Oh, I know. Oh, but the stuff they're releasing now makes what we currently have seem, you know, like an old Philishave system or something.
Wow. So I DJ as well. I DJ on the side as well. And Chris and I, for 3 years, 2 or 3 years, at his kids' public school, would dance. We DJ'd a dance together, the Halloween dance together. So I DJ'd, and Chris did all the lighting for it, which was great. So the kids loved it, right? So this last year we do it. The year before COVID, we show up, and Chris says, "You'll never guess what I have." And I said,
"Oh, yeah, those are the new Meyers." Yeah.
He says, "I've got the new Meyer sound speakers," and I was like, "Oh my god!" So I go and I set up my equipment. I know how good the Markham Theater sounds because I've heard the system a million times, having worked there. And I set up my DJ gear, and I turn on to sound check Michael Jackson's Thriller. Yes. And I press play, and holy shit, these speakers just kicked the crap out of me. And I'm standing at the back of the gymnasium, and it sounded like they had like these big, massive, like 21-inch subwoofers with it, and it's these 2 boxes that are about this big.
The new Meyer Ultra X40s. It's a pair of 8-inch drivers and then a horn.
And they sound like they have subwoofers with them. It was absolutely insane. And then Chris looks at me and he goes, "You know what's crazy?" I said, "No, what's that?" And it was cranked at that point in time. He goes, "They're not even at 40% yet." was like, oh, I want a pair of these so badly.
I used a pair of those at the Unionville Bandstand for the Thursday night concert series with Brass Transit. And we probably had 5,000 people there, and those two speakers filled the area.
Can you believe that? 5,000 people.
Unbelievable.
2 speakers.
Yeah. And then we actually had subs for that. So, I mean.
Right.
And 5,000 people in one spot. Like, I can't wait to be.
Oh, no kidding. I can't wait to have to, shuffle my way through to get to front of house. And
to get a beer, to
exactly.
talk to people in the beer line.
As an audio person, I actually miss people coming up going, I really can't hear the bass enough. What I would do to have somebody tell me how to do my job.
They always talk to like whoever the poor sucker is at the back of the house, right? You're responsible for the bathrooms. You're responsible for the cost of the drinks.
Can I charge my phone?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
Jeez. No.
I'm not sure, like the Irish Rovers, because I remember working the Irish Rovers at Markham Theatre. Like we never got the full effect of the speaker system there.
Well, and back then it was a different system. Still higher, but yeah, we upgraded big time back in 2011, and it's a pretty killer system in there now.
Sweet.
Do you know what I think is going to be? You're going to actually end up seeing this a lot. The very first time you get to go to a live concert or the theater or something like that. Just things, honestly, Melissa, you are absolutely right. You're going to see things that you just think back in the day, like, over 12 months ago, were such a fucking pain in the ass. You're going to look at now like no big deal. You're going to walk through a crowded like concert with a couple of beers, being like, excuse me.
Here's one for you.
Exactly. Exactly. You'll be walking through kind of like, excuse me, pardon me, sorry about that.
Oh, you spilled your beer all over me? No problem.
It'd be like,
let me get you another one.
That's right. Excuse me, pardon me. I'm so happy to be doing this again. Oh my God. Like bawling your eyes out as you're asking people to get out of your way kind of thing. It'll be nice to be able to do that, won't it?
I can't wait.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, you have a summer off, your first summer off since you were 12. I'm like, you know what I wanted to do on my summer off? I've been planning this for a long time. I was like, I'm going to save my money. I'm going to take 6 months, right? Because I've not stopped since I was 12. I haven't had summer off since I was 12. And I was like, my plan was to spend a week in every province and territory, like either doing a backpacking canoeing trip or go to a music festival. Or if you're up in the territories, you can canoe to the music festival, and then someone takes the canoe back for you. I'm like, that's the dream, right?
Wow.
I'm like, sweet. And then I'm like, that's the summer off that I was hoping to have. Like, to me, the summer off is music festivals. That's what I want. Camping, canoeing, and music festivals, but not sitting at home wondering if I can afford my coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, so I and like, remember last summer, like everything canceled, like Hillside Festival gone, Riverfest gone, like all the tickets. You're like, oh, I guess that's a savings plan now. All the refunds.
Way Home gone.
All the things.
Everything gone.
The campgrounds, everything gone. So that's not the summer off that I wanted.
Yeah.
But now you can't even get a campsite either. So it's like,
well, exactly.
I don't know. More time spent in my attic writing. That's all I've done. It's like I'm either working at a farm or I've been in my attic writing and reading.
No, but you have a really cute little attic space. I like it a lot.
And I zhuzhed it, and it's like an oasis up there. I got a keyboard.
Plants?
Actually, no, the cat ate that one.
Right. The cat.
But I've got a keyboard. I've got my guitars. I've got like a reading nook and a bed. I actually made it so that if I had to rent out every square inch of my house so I could keep it, I could actually live in my attic. Like I just put a bar fridge in there and actually be good to go. But I've got a desk and it's good. It's a big, weird attic. And then I could live in there.
Your attic is awesome.
It's like awesomer now. But
is it really, eh?
Yeah, actually tidied it. But it's like, it's
now
pretty
the pinnacle of awesomeness.
It is.
Yeah.
Tidiness is next to godliness.
Yeah.
Oh, it sure is.
I'm pretty far from that though. But anyway. Yeah.
Well, we were out there. Your house was clean. It was great.
It's good, I didn't have
You have a nice house, actually. It's nice and homey.
I like home. It's kind of eclectic, you know.
I like the wood.
Oh.
I like the weird shape, like cut
Right.
out. I like it all.
It goes with my weird shaped cutout, so it's
Right.
it's good.
Right.
It's it's my place.
It's part and parcel because of the person, right? So there you go. I mean, if you're an eclectic person, then you're going to have an eclectic home. I like to think we're kind of eclectic in certain ways.
You think? Yeah, I'd say I'm a little
We're not
eclectic. That's a nice way.
we're not
to
your
say
norm.
Crazy. Just a little eclectic.
It's
I want to thank the two of you very, very much for joining us. Before we let you go, if you don't mind, just let us know what you guys are up to these days. Chris, what are you doing these days?
Well, I'm fortunate that I work for a municipal theater. So instead of getting laid off, I was redeployed. So I started out working with the city survey department, doing pre-construction road surveys and property line surveys, things like that. And then was very lucky to go back to the theater for the summer. We took all of our camps virtual. So
nice.
They brought me in. So I edited all of the final shows. So I did 19 movies in 4 weeks. It was insane.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was insane. It was so nice to be working stupid hours again, 16 hours a day in front of a computer editing.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it was ready for the live stream on Friday.
Wow. That's amazing.
Then went back to the survey department, then got moved to the operations department doing winter maintenance, so sidewalk plowing and shoveling pathways and stuff like that. And now then pruning trees and now litter picking. Yeah.
Now I have a government job too, so I hear you. I feel you.
So do I.
Whatever it is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So okay, and Melissa, you are staying in a nondescript hotel room somewhere in the middle of downtown Toronto. Is that where you are right now?
That is correct. I am the miracle on ice right now. I am working on an opera with Opera Atelier. We're going to film an opera.
Cool.
And it's like a lot of backflips have happened to make this happen, but I'm not we could get shut down at any minute because of the way the wording works, which happened in January. I was on a project and we were supposed to live stream in situ, and then the lockdown, like the big one, happened, and we had hours to turn it into something else, like stagehand on a bicycle with ring lights and cables, like riding to big wigs, like houses, because it was a fundraiser.
Wow.
It was stressful. Like going, how are we going to do this? And of course we did it because we're theater people. We
make things happen.
We invent time. It's like, what do you need? It's like,
I love that.
And so basically I'm working on this opera right now. I'm working towards my master's in social work. I worked on a farm for about 10 months, slugging potatoes and planting microgreens. I was teaching at the University of Windsor. What I do, I got really lucky with that gig, doing a bunch of guest speaking and stuff like that. And so, yeah, kind of like anything and everything. It's I say I'm still unemployed because I really am. We're not. We're being prevented from going to work, not from not wanting to work, but I'm paying the bills. We're all paying the bills, but we're hustling. I'm hustling in the way that I had to hustle when I first got out of theater school. When you're just like, not.
I'll do anything. Yeah,
I'll do anything.
I'll do anything.
Not 25 years into a career that's been highly specialized. And mostly just trying to stay upright and stay healthy and take care of each other. That's actually the biggest part of the gig. So
yeah,
we got a really sad community out there.
I know we do. We certainly do, don't we?
Yeah. You know what? Sorry, Han.
No. Go ahead, Jen.
In case we don't talk to you before your birthday, happy early birthday, Melissa. Her birthday's in April.
It's on Easter, actually, this year.
Easter birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy early birthday.
I'm going to drink alone in my hammock. That's my plan.
At least you have a hammock.
That sounds awesome.
Great.
It sounds
I'd
great.
love to drink alone in my hammock.
My kids got me the best Christmas present this past year. It's a hammock with a stand, and it's completely portable. Comes with 2 carrying cases for the frame and then the hammock. And the hammock actually has a curved board on each end so that it's shaped, but it detaches so you can fold it up. Oh, it is prime. It is so good. I set it up in my living room a couple weeks ago and had a nice nap.
Oh, that's fantastic! And you've got the barbecue out back where
I've got the smoker and
all of us have to come and get a meal.
And
all of us have to come and get a meal.
When
man,
you smell the smoke coming across 7 there, buddy.
you jump on Facebook and you see MacBride's like web or his Facebook profile. He's like, yeah, I'm cooking up this and I'm cooking up that and I'm cooking up that. It literally looks like, the outside kitchen of a restaurant. It's like, oh my God, it looks so good. And of course, he literally lives across the street from us. So we're going to get over there. Chris MacBride, Melissa Rood, thank you both so very much for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Is there anything you want to say before we say good evening?
I mean, just please come back when it's time to come back. Please come back and support.
Promise.
Like,
honestly, Miss Lai, I don't think that's going to be a problem. People are so starved for it. I think
people are jonesing for it. They really
I
are.
think that the entertainment industry is going to come back bigger and badder than ever, and we're not going to know what to do with ourselves. Yeah, which is my real hope. You know?
Yeah, and when everyone's in their rooms listening to music and watching movies and like reading the books, like think that there are people who provided that during this last year. People worked really, really hard, and please pay musicians when you want them to play for you. And pay the artists and pay people to do the thing that they.
Don't complain that there's a cover charge at the bar to go see your buddy's band. Just pay it and
please,
buy the sweat, like buy the merch, enjoy it.
Yeah,
we now know what it's like not to have it, and it
That's
sucks.
Right. Yeah, it does suck. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Gang, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. If you can just have a quick look on Jennifer's screen right here. We've got music at revolutionradio.live. That is how you can get in touch with us, and I'm going to put it in the stream chat here really quickly. Hopefully I can do this because men are not good at multitasking. There we go. No, sorry, no, that's not it. No, that's not it.
Don't do that.
Do you want me to do something?
You're doing it. You're making everybody laugh. There it is.
No, this is the Kent expression.
Yeah, I got it again. Yeah. www.revolutionradio.live is where you can actually get in touch with us. That is our website for Revolution Radio Live on Mixcloud. It's www.mixcloud.live/Revolution Radio Canada. And we go live there 24/7. We play the best music on the planet. Okay. And just so you know, Flaming Lips is on our playlist, Melissa, just so you're aware. All right. Once again, thank you so much. Revolution Roundtable goes 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday. We do New Music Mondays starting at 7 p.m. every Monday. And we just have all sorts of kick-ass stuff. Oh, and our good friend DJ Angus James is doing the Thursday night throwdown this Thursday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. So once again, thank you so much, Melissa Rood, Chris MacBride. All the best to the both of you. And I'm hoping and praying for a speedy return at some point for the two of you to get back to work.
We will not accept the new normal.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's right.
Thank you.
Love to all. Thanks, guys. Have yourselves a great night. Okay.
Nice meeting you, Melissa.
Nice to meet you.